Okay, let's find the greatest common factor and least common multiple of 42 and 14. I'm going to do it in a couple ways. One is just listing the factors and listing the multiples and finding which one they have in common. And the other way is then going to be using the prime factorization method. So here we go. Factors of 42. Factors are what numbers can multiply together to make a certain number. So I'm looking for factors of 42. So what numbers multiplied together make 42? So 1 times 42, 2 times 21, 3 times 14. I could stop right now because I know that 14 is the highest possible factor of 14, that there's no other one that could possibly be any greater. We're looking for the largest one, but I went ahead and finished it out. It wasn't that many, 6 times 7. But here, as soon as I get to 1 times 14, 14 is the largest possible factor of 14. So we're going to have 14 as the greatest common, the one that they have in common, right? 42 is a larger factor, but 42 isn't a factor of 14. So the one they have in common, the largest one is 14. So multiples, I'm thinking about if I'm counting by 14s, those are multiples of 14. Right, so 42, the multiples of 42. So I've got 14 times 1 is 14, 14 times 2 is 28, 14 times 3 is 42. I'll start with the lower one first and see if, in fact, the larger number is a multiple of the smaller one, and in fact it is. So 42 times 1 and 14 times 3. Those, the greatest common factor is 14. And the least common multiple is 42. How that would look using the, let's get that back. All right, so how that would look using the, sorry, a little distracted here. Using the prime factorization method. So I'm going to prime factorize these guys and say, okay, what times what makes 42? 6 times 7. 7 is a prime factor. So since 6 isn't, let's break this down into its prime factors. And I can break that down into 3 times 2. All right, 42 is the product. 42 is the product of 3 times 2 times 7. That makes 42. So let's take this over at 14, and let's say that that's 7 times 2. Oh, there you go. Those are the prime factors of 14. 7 times 2. So what is the greatest common factor? Well, let's look at all the factors that they share. They share a factor of 7, and they share a factor of 2. So the prime factors that they have in common, so the greatest common factor is 7 times 2. The two factors, the two prime factors that they do have in common, which is 14, which we got before. For the least common multiple, I'm going to look for any factors that are not shared. So this 3 is not shared. So what I want to do is I want to share it with the other number. I want to share this with the 14. Right? And when I do share it with the 14, take a look at what we have. We now have the same number here. That's the common multiple that we're going to have. In this case, it ends up being 42. 7 times 2 is 14, times 3 is 42, right? 42. And 3 times 2 is 6, times 7 is 42. There you go. Those are the two methods. Choose which one works best for you.